So today we're actually at the homestead. Have the Otter with the log trailer on back, and we are going over to the neighbors and picking up some logs that would be good on the sawmill. It's stuff that came down in a storm a little bit ago, so it's fairly dry. But we got like an 18-foot piece there, and then another piece that's in the woods that we still need to address and get pulled out and see what all is in it. But this is a fair-sized tree. It's a piece that we did the test on the base of whenever we did the log trailer. So we just tested it with that piece to see how it would do. And anyway, so now we're actually taking it into the woods and using it. So here in the Otter, we have the battery that sits right behind the driver's seat. So we're able to hook to the battery there pretty easily by taking off one panel to run the winch, and using the winch to drag it on. In theory, we could use the tractor to push it on, but since we have the winch and everything set up, figure we try it out just to see if it's going to work as we hope. So join me today while we kind of get that stuff picked up, and more wood. So it's aspen. It's something that we don't have a lot of around here, and just something different we can try cutting up. So join me while we work on that. This is the other thing we've been making to go along with the log trailer. So basically we had this on just a normal plate, and the mount for the Otter is back in under here. So a standard mount doesn't work very well. It's pretty far back, then also it sits really low. So the standard one is like 11 inches off the ground. So that causes everything to sit really tilted down whenever you're hooked up to a trailer. So we've made a riser for it, which is the yellow one over here we've been using. And we made it to like move the smaller trailer around and things like that. But as you can see, it has quite a bit of extension out. So it's making more of a pivot point further out from the Otter here. And it actually has over here that you're not supposed to have more than 8 inches, 9 inches from back in under where it mounts. So what we did here is just made a shorter version and then mounted a plate on here that we drilled holes in to put this on directly. So then this gets it up off the ground about 17, 18 inches. So that'll cause the trailer, the log trailer in particular, to sit flat whenever it's on there and not be tilted down. But then it also, so like whenever we have that other one in, this sits off about 9 inches to center. Before it was sitting back here at like 15, 16. So it's just putting a lot more stress on the back of the Otter that wasn't needed. So this will help alleviate some of the potential issues with having too much weight on the back. I think this thing won't have any issue pulling it with the HST hydrostat that it has under here. It shouldn't have any issue. It's more just try not to put any more undue stress on the suspension system and then the under frame here where this hooks in. So you can buy something similar like this, and it runs a little over $100. So here we just use 2-inch tubing to make this L. So cut a 45 here so you get your 90 up, cut a couple 45s in this piece for support. Put a little top on it just so you don't have water go in, and then a chunk of steel here that we drilled these holes in to be able to mount the pintle receiver on. So nothing super fancy about it, but gives it a spot to hook up that will make this machine a little bit happier, and try not to put any additional wear and tear on the machine from using that log trailer. A person down the street that has a tree down that we can use as saw on the sawmill. So have the trailer hooked up to the Otter here, have the winch, and we're going to try to pull that on. With storm damage, This is one spot, like we didn't get hit very hard, but just less than a quarter of a mile down the road, they have some stuff here down. This tree actually came down in a different storm, but we brought the 62 this way to help clean up some of this stuff, just so we could get back around. The house is actually back around that way a little ways, but they have this path that kind of comes over to our road. So we got this open up for them, and doing that, they have, they're going to let us have this tree just because they don't really have anything to do with it, and it's a little bit nicer than just, you know, firewood. Yeah, it didn't sound like it worked at all, even though you were going uphill. Basically, we'll just hook the tractor, pull it right off. With that poly pipe on there, it slides really easy. So uprooted over there, fell across this path, so we got this section out. We had the piece lane here. Then we have this going across. We got a little section here that we'll be able to get some good stuff out of. Then it gets a little small and squirrely up there, so I'm going to cut it off. Aspen isn't very heavy. It's big enough and is down that ravine. The little tractor won't pull that up. So because we are here by the homestead, just I don't know, less than a quarter of a mile kind of down the road that way, as you've seen on some of the time lapse, able to go get the big tractor, so I'll hook the 62 to that. 62 shouldn't have any issue pulling that up. The main issue is it kind of looks like a runoff spot, and it's fallen down in there after rotating around. time using this. Pretty happy with it. All worked well. Winch pulled on. Didn't do the heaviest of logs, but did a fair sized log, so pretty happy. Poly worked as intended. Kind of a double-edged sword, so we were on a hill as we loaded, so we used the backhoe to swing a piece on and set it on, and without some kind of additional attachment, the thing wanted to just slide off. So we have some smallish chain and a small binder we'll probably use that we'll carry with this to be able to strap down logs in the future. But since we had the winch on here, we were able to just use the winch to hold it, and that seemed to work well. And then unloading it, I was actually able to get behind it and just push it off. We were on a downhill slope, so I was able to get behind it, push with my legs, and then Dad and I were able to just push it so that most of the tree was on the ground, and then be able to just pull away from it. So I was worried about unloading, but I think it won't be too much of an issue, and loading it seems to be pretty good as long as Dad can pick up the end to get onto the first rung. I think we'll be able to pull most stuff on with this winch. So and anything that can't be just pulled on with the winch, we can either do a combination of pulling and pushing with the tractor. So pretty happy. Forward to using this at the 100 acres, but then also have some friend that's got had a lot of storm damage and has a lot of trees, where this could be really beneficial getting stuff pulled out of his woods.